Hello again. My name is BB. I'm 30 years old. I don't have a college degree, but I do want to be a teacher. Someday, one day, when college is free. No, it's never gonna happen. Sigh, admit defeat. College is never gonna be free. Colleges are always going to raise their tuition no matter what. And for most people, college will never get fully paid off. Even to go to community college, county college, open college, whatever, it's not going to pay off. I want what's called a K-12 homeschool instructor's license because I live in Washington State, and Washington State is a homeschool regulation state. There's a loophole called a K-12 homeschool instructor's license. That's technically, you're supposed to get 45 teaching credits, and I've looked online, and I think the key pathway to getting it is doing an associate's degree of being a paraeducator, and you get your credits through all of that, and then you can apply for that K-12 homeschool instructor's license through that paraeducator program, degree, whatever. It's there, but it's unheard of, it's rare, but it's there. It exists. But to reach it, I'd have to take the long road to get my paraeducator's license, and even then, that can be pricey, expensive. I don't have a laptop. And I think to anyone who dares to say, oh, you can just do it from your computer at home. There's a lot of college classes nowadays where they expect you to have a laptop on the table in front of you, on the desk in front of you, to record the lessons, to research your own lessons online. Not all colleges are going to have computer and laptop carts available in every classroom for students who don't have a laptop. This isn't like 2005 anymore. It's 2020. And I can't imagine myself walking into a college classroom unprepared without the right materials. It's kind of like if you're a stupid high school teenage boy, teenage guy who happens to be on the football team or basketball team or whatever is the jock team of the school, and you have a drawstring backpack or those really skinny, narrow, kind of useless, pointless North Face backpacks that you can't really fit anything into, so they're more for overpriced decoration on your backside. And you don't have a pencil, you don't have a pen, you don't have a notebook, you don't have any paper. You still show up to your classes, but you show up unprepared because you're a lazy, stupid, teenage guy jock who thinks that being present for sports is more important than being present for assignments. And you always ask someone for a pencil. You always ask someone else for a pen. If you can afford that overpriced, stupid North Face backpack that you have, whether you're the standard one or that super extra skinny one, if you can afford that, you can afford some pencils, pens, binder, notebooks. Stop mooching off your classmates. Now, mind you, coronavirus exists and schools don't. But when schools do go back into business, be responsible, stupid teenagers. Sorry, just venting my own experiences and frustrations when I was in school. Anyways, I educate myself in different ways with a lot of different books. No deadlines, no assignments, No essays, no worksheets. Just my own free time, my own heavy reading, light reading. YouTube. I type in on YouTube school district, major city, school districts, name of state, school districts, name of country. Third grade classroom, name of city. Third grade classroom, name of state. High school history class, LA Unified School District. Or charter schools in Texas. Or I go for very specific classroom educational keywords to be able to see lesson planning, teachers leading the class with, a camera on a tripod in the back of a classroom or off to the side, and then you see the teacher interacting with students and teaching the lesson at hand. That's the kind of stuff I like to watch on YouTube, to educate myself, to know things. No, I'm not taking notes. No, I'm not writing down ideas. It's all in my head. So, I'd say in the past 10-15 years, I've fallen in love with an antiquated school model called the one-room schoolhouse. This is a one-room schoolhouse, and this is a one-room schoolhouse, and that is a one-room schoolhouse. And I have more of these books on a bookshelf, but I didn't grab all of them. But this one is Stories of Heroic Women of the Old West, and it's basically narrations and, descendants of people who were in the 1800s, the 1900s, to the 1930s, 1940s, 1950s, to the 1960s. And it's their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren sharing their handwritten letters and diary entries and lesson plans and kind of legendary told biographies of how my grandparent or great-grandparent or great-uncle or great-aunt or my next-door neighbor's grandparents were school teachers during the era of small localized schools, not school districts. Even if they were part of school districts, they were very different at the turn of the 20th century, well into the 40s, 50s, and 60s. If they weren't urban schools in big, overcrowded cities, they were in small cities, big towns, small towns, rural, unincorporated areas of newly defined counties in different states. This one was actually a really good read because it had a lot of photos, a lot of captions. And I think it took me maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks to get through this. Kind of leisurely reading every other day. But I liked it because it just wasn't a bunch of text. It was pictures, images, captions, index, glossary, footnotes. Driving to school by mules. Whole class there. 1935. There aren't any schoolhouses like these in my area. Not that I know of. I live in a very urban area. I think the nearest one-room schoolhouse that might still exist, I don't think it's a one-room, but I think it was an older school building in the 50s, 60s, and 70s in a mining town that really isn't a town anymore. It's a little redneck cul-de-sac enclave in some backwoods little area called Selleck. Selleck, Washington. There is a schoolhouse there on a dead-end road. That schoolhouse was in operation probably up until the 80s, maybe the early 90s. It might have been like 5 or 6 classrooms, but it's in an area where people live with Confederate flags waving on their porches. Not the type of place you want to go to in the middle of the day, or at all. So, no excursions for me to go urban exploring in old buildings or anything like that. Oh well. So that's it for my one-room schoolhouse books. Maybe some more later on down the road. But that's it. Stay tuned for more videos on my vast, ever-growing book collection.